saw a woman standing in the neon rain, looking like a portrait in a golden frame. She wasn't born that way, no, she found the grace in a cinematic memory in a distant place. We think we're breathing, we think we're free, but we're just following the scripts of a gallery. The way we love, the way we cry is a carbon copy of a beautiful lie. The fog in London didn't exist, they say, until the painters turned the river into gray. We don't see the world with a naked eye, we see the masterpiece before we even try. Life imitates art, baby, don't you know? In this lo-fi rhythm, in this jazz funk flow, far more than the other way around, it's true. The canvas is the master of me and you. Yeah, slow motion drama, a velvet design, where the street is just a sketch of a final line. Nature is a student of the poet's mind, looking for the colors that the dreamers find. The sunsets only pretty cause a painter told us so, setting up the lighting for the evening show. We dress like the heroes, we talk like the stars, playing out the logic in the late night bars. The world is a mirror of a poet's ink, it's deeper and stranger than you'd ever think. We think the artist reflects the world, the artist creates the world. Reality is just a slow learn, following the brushstrokes, catching up to the vision. The heart is just an apprentice to the song. Imitates art, baby, don't you know? In this lo-fi rhythm, in this jazz funk flow, far more than the other way around, it's true. The canvas is the master of me and you. Yeah, slow motion drama, a velvet design. In this lo-fi space we find a frame. Everything's a picture with a different name. Stay true. Life imitates art far more. Standing on the corner with a megaphone, telling everybody what they've always known. Pointing at the towers, pointing at the sky, counting all the reasons for a how and a why. We're rewriting history, we're drawing new lines, looking for the answers in the neon signs. A million manifestos scattered on the floor, trying to fix the world by kicking down the door. But the air is heavy with a quiet kind of pride, looking for the villain on the outside. It's a grand vibration, a thunderous sound, but we're standing on the same old hollow ground. Yeah, everyone thinks of changing the world tonight, fixing all the shadows under someone else's light. But nobody thinks of changing the man with it. The only revolution where you actually win. Yeah, it's a lo-fi truth, a jazzy kind of twist. The hardest war to fight is the one you exist in. the missing piece. It's easier to march than to sit in the dark. It's easier to shout than to find the inner spark. We wanna move the mountains, wanna move the sea, but we won't even move a habit, you and me. The ego is a fortress, the mind is a wall, protecting all the patterns that lead us to the fall. We want a brand new garden, a brand new design, but we're using the same old tangled vine. It's a funny thing, isn't it? We have a plan for every city, every nation, every person we've ever met. But when the lights go out and it's just you in the mirror, the silence is deafening. Before you fix the world, maybe try fixing the view. Of changing the world tonight, fixing all the shadows under someone else's life, but nobody thinks of changing the man within. The only revolution where you actually win, yeah, it's a lo-fi truth, a jazzy kind of twist. A lo-fi groove, we find the real work, hiding in the corners where the shadows lurk. But down the sign, baby, pick up the mirror, change the world, but start with you. I don't need the glitter, I don't need the glitz. I'm not looking for a world that's blown to bits. Keep your neon signs and your hollow display. I'm just looking for the light in a different way. A single silk thread, a vintage glass of wine. Everything is easy when the stars align. I'm a man of few words, a man of quiet needs, watching how the garden grows from the finest seeds. They say I'm hard to handle, they say I'm hard to please, but I'm just drifting on a high-class breeze. It's not about the quantity or the heavy price, it's about the soul inside the sacrifice. I have the simplest taste, baby, don't you know? In this lo-fi rhythm, in this jazz funk flow, I'm always satisfied with the best, that's the deal. Beyond the imitation and the things that aren't real, yeah, the top shelf of the spirit, the peak of the rest. Always satisfied with nothing but the best. Nothing but the best. Why settle for the echo when you can have the sound? Why look for the copper when the gold is in the ground? Uncomplicate a rhythm, a pure and steady beat, leaving all the mediocre static in the street. A masterpiece of time in a perfect shade of blue. I'm only asking for the things that are true. I'm easily contented, I'm easy to keep, as long as the quality is running wide and deep. People call it excess, I call it clarity. Why clutter the mind with the almost? Why waste the heart on the nearly? It's quite simple, really. I don't need much, I just need it to be perfect. imitation and the things that aren't real. Yeah, the top shelf of the spirit, the peak of the rest. And there's a lo-fi space. We set the bar, shining like a distant diamond star. Don't bring me the rest, baby, keep it true. Simple as taste. The best. I'm a man of iron, I'm a man of steel. I got a handle on the way I feel. I can say no to the easy prize. Look the devil straight in his golden eyes. I got a fortress, I got a wall, built so high I'm never gonna fall. I can stand the pressure, I can stand the rain, walking past the glory and walking past the pain. But then the wind starts blowing a different scent, and I wonder where all my willpower went. The armor's heavy and the night is deep, and I got a promise I just can't keep. Oh, I can't resist everything, baby, don't you see? And there's a lo-fi rhythm in this jazz funk degree. Everything in the world from the sky to the sea, except temptation. Yes, got a hold on me. A beautiful disaster, a sweet sensation. I can't resist it all, except temptation. A vintage bottle or a velvet dress, a secret whisper that leads to a yes. Why be a saint in a world of sin when the groove is calling and the walls are thin? I'm an expert at the art of the note, until the lights get soft and the tempo gets low. Logic is a shadow, reason is a ghost, when I'm standing face to face with what I want the most. It's a paradox, really. I'm strong until I'm not. I can walk past the mountain, but I can't walk past the fruit. Give me a challenge, and I'll meet it. Give me a craving, and I'm gone every single time. There's a lo-fi rhythm, and say. Resist everything but this. We're looking for a straight line in a circle of rain, a simple yes or no to ease the human pain. We want it crystal clear like water in a glass, watching all the shadows as they ghost and pass. But you hold it to the light and you see the little flaws, the hidden little motives and the secret little laws. Nothing's ever white and nothing's ever black. Once you leave the station, there's no turning back. It's a tangled web, it's a heavy, heavy veil, a beautiful story that's always for sale. You're peeling back the layers, looking for the core, but every door you open just leads to one more door. The truth is rarely pure, baby, don't you know? In this lo-fi rhythm, in this jazz funk flow, and it's never simple, honey, that's the deal. Beyond the logic and the things we feel, it's a messy kind of magic, a bitter kind of gray, hiding in the corners at the end of the day. Yeah, rarely pure and never simple. A fact is just a whisper that we've all agreed to keep, a surface level promise while the water's running deep. One man's gospel is another man's lie, depending on the angle of the sun in the sky. Check the footnotes, check the fine print, looking for the glitter, looking for the glint. But the more you try to scrub it, the more the colors bleed. The truth is far too hungry for the things we think we need. Think about it. Purity is a dream for the poets. Simplicity is a comfort for the fools. The real thing is complicated. It's heavy. It's got 1,000 faces, and not one of them is easy to look at. Lo-fi Walking down the boulevard, seeing all the clones, checking every filter on their glowing phones. Copy paste the fashion, copy paste the soul. Everybody's playing a pre-written role. You're trying to walk like Kim, trying to talk like her, but the real you is starting to become a blur. It's a crowded masquerade, a heavy velvet line, and you're waiting for a costume that isn't even mine. It's exhausting, baby, wearing someone's skin, trying to fit a circle where the square should have been. The world is full of echoes, loud and out of tune, but the sun shouldn't try to be the silver moon. Be yourself, baby, let the rhythm flow in this lo-fi rhythm, in this jazz funk glow. Be yourself, honey, don't you see? It's the only way to find your own melody, 'cause everyone else is already taken. A vintage original can never be shaken. Yeah, the roles are all filled, the seats are all gone. Just be the you from the dusk to the dawn. They got the superstar, they got the billionaire, they got the lonely poet with the messy hair. The slots are all occupied, the labels are all stuck. Trying to be another is just pushing your luck. There's a vacancy in your own shoes, don't you know? A private little garden that's waiting to grow. Stop the imitation, stop the hollow chase, and put a little honesty back into your face. Think about it. Why be a second-rate someone else when you can be a first-rate you? The market is flooded with copies, but an original, that's priceless. The other versions, they're all out of stock. Tells a little story just to save his face. A simple fabrication, a slip of time and space. She swears on the altar with a cold and steady eye, the kind of bitter poison that we call a damned lie. We're used to the shadows, we're used to the spin, the way the world tells us exactly where we've been. But there's a cleaner deception dressed in black and white, waiting in the ledger in the middle of the night. It's a polished illusion, a clinical grace, hiding the truth with a smile on its face. You can prove anything if you shuffle the deck with a decimal point hanging around your neck. There are three kinds of lies, baby, can't you see? In this lo-fi rhythm, in this jazz funk degree, you got your lies and your damn lies, honey, it's true. But the statistics, they're the ones that'll get to you. Yeah, the numbers don't color charts, mapping out the logic while we're breaking all the hearts. 75% of the people agree that the truth is whatever we want it to be. It's the grandest manipulation, the ultimate trick, making the healthy look incredibly sick. I see a data, a mountain of fact, leaving all the honesty and the soul intact. I don't think so. Figures don't lie, but liars sure can figure. See, a lie is just a word. A damned lie is a weapon. But statistics are the math of the ghost. They show you everything, except the person standing right in front of you. Got your lies and your damn lies, honey, it's true. But the statistics, they're the ones that'll get to you. Yeah, the numbers don't sweat, and the numbers don't bleed. 1, 2, 3 lies, baby. 1, 2, 3 lies, baby. In this lo-fi space, we find the spin. Calculating the loss, calculating the win. Stay honest, baby, if you still know how. 3 kinds of lies, count 'em up. 3 kinds of lies, count 'em up. 3 kinds of lies. Count 'em up. Three kinds of lives. The wind is blowing left, the crowd is moving right. Everyone's just looking for a little neon light. It's easy to be quiet, it's easy to just blend, following the shadows until the very end. They got a million reasons to take the easy way, painting over logic in a dusty shade of gray. But I'm standing at the crossroads with a different kind of view, trying to figure out the move that's honest and true. It ain't about the applause or the gold on the shelf, it's about the quiet conversation with yourself. Don't look at the faces, don't listen to the noise. The truth has got a rhythm and a very steady voice. Do the right thing, baby, just let it roll. In this lo-fi rhythm, in this jazz funk soul, it's gonna gratify some, give them a reason to smile, but it's gonna astonish the rest for a long, long while. Yeah, do the right thing, watch the world freeze like a sudden cold snap in a summer breeze. Some will see the light and say I knew it all along, but find a little little comfort in the middle of your song. But the others, oh the others, they'll be staring at the floor like they never seen a man walk through an open door. They're so used to the game, they're so used to the lie, that the simple honest truth is gonna hit them in the eye. A rare kind of magic, a vintage kind of move, putting all the static back into the groove. Integrity, it's a funny thing. Most people talk about it, but few ever bring it. When you finally do what's right, the silence of the crowd is the loudest sound in the night. Watch them blink, watch them wonder. And the easy curve, just do it right, baby. Let 'em stare. Gratify the few, astonish the rest. Sitting by the lamp, ink on the page, building a world in a logical cage. If the hero falls, there's a reason why. A shadow in the alley or a storm in the sky. In a book, the pieces have to fit just right, like a puzzle solved in the middle of the night. You can't have a miracle without a little seed. Fiction's got a law that it's forced to heed. It's a comfortable limit, a familiar frame, giving the chaos a sensible name. But then I step outside and the script goes wrong. The rhythm's offbeat in a wilder song. Truth is stranger than fiction, baby. Yeah, it's a weird kind of luxury, 'cause fiction's gotta stick to the possible, honey, while the truth is wild and free. Truth don't care about the rules of the game. It doesn't need a reason, it doesn't need a name. Yeah, it's stranger than anything you've ever seen. A lightning strike on a cloudless day, a long lost key finding its own way. If I wrote it in a novel, they'd call it a lie. Too convenient, they'd say with a sigh. But the universe doesn't have a how or a why. It doesn't need to make sense to the naked eye. It's the accidental beauty, the impossible heart, tearing the rule book of logic apart. Think about it. Fiction has to be believable. It has to be possible. But the truth doesn't owe you an explanation. It doesn't have to stick to anything. It just is. of the game. It doesn't need a reason. It doesn't need a name. In this lo-fi groove we find the real, beyond the logic and the things we feel. Keep it strange, baby. Keep it true. Obliged to nothing, just the truth. Sitting on the dock, watching the tide roll in, thinking about the places that I've never been. The harbor's safe and the water's still, but the heart is looking for a higher hill. We're so afraid of the wind and the rain, of a little bit of loss or a little bit of pain. So we tie the ropes and we stay at the shore, but the soul is begging for a little bit more. It's a comfortable silence, a familiar scene, but there's a ghost in the mirror of the might have been. The map is in your pocket, the compass in your hand, waiting for a sign to leave the solid land. 'Cause 20 years from now, baby, you're gonna see, looking back at the line of your own history, you'll be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did, even if they fell through. Yeah, catch the trade winds, let the spirit fly before the sun starts fading in the evening sky. Go ahead and stumble, go ahead and fall. It's the silence of the empty that's the hardest call. Better a scar from a wilder race than a perfectly clean and a lonely space. Sail away from the harbor, leave the doubt behind. There's a whole new rhythm for the heart to find. The mistakes are just notes in a beautiful song, but the silence of never is what feels so wrong. Think about it. 20 years. A lot of time to wonder what if. Don't let the anchor be your only story. Explore. Dream. Discover. The ocean is waiting. By the things you didn't do than by the ones you did, even if they fell through. Yeah, catch the trade winds, let the spirit fly before the sun starts fading in the evening sky. And there's a lo-fi groove, you find the nerve to take the turn, and a beautiful curve. Explore it all, baby. Dream it out loud. 20 years. Discover. Met a man on on the corner said he'd give me the world, with a silver-tongued story and a flag unfurled. Everyone's a poet over a glass of gin, building up a castle where the walls are thin. I'll be there tomorrow, I'm your brother for life, cutting through the silence like a butter knife. But the air is heavy with the things they say, and the meanings start to scatter at the end of the day. It's a cheap currency spent on the fly, a beautiful chorus, a well-polished lie. It's easy to whistle when the sun is bright, but it's a different tune in the dead of the night. Words are easy, baby, just like the wind, blowing through the alley where the story thins. They drift away like smoke, they're so hard to bind. But faithful friends, honey, they're hard to find. Yeah, it's a rare groove, a treasure in the dust, finding a heart that you can actually trust. When the pockets are empty and the music gets slow, that's when you see where the fair weather go. They vanish like shadows when the light goes dim, leaving you to sink while they learn how to swim. But a real one stays, doesn't need a grand speech. They're the anchor in the storm, always within reach. No fancy vocabulary, no hollow display, just a steady hand pushing the shadows away. Talk is cheap. The world is full of noise and empty promises. Everyone can say the right thing when the rhythm is easy, but a faithful friend, that's a masterpiece, a rare pressing in a world of digital static. Hold on to the ones who don't just speak, but stay. It's a rare groove, a treasure in the dark, hard to find. In this lo-fi groove, we find the real, more than the words, is the way that we feel. Keep the circle small, keep the spirit true. Like the wind, they're gone, but you're still here. I gave you the coat when the winter was lean. I gave you the world that I'd never seen. I built you a bridge, I built you a home, so you never have to feel the cold and alone. I watched you grow, I watched you fly, with the pride of a father in the look of my eye. But the seasons have turned and the air has gone gray, and you've thrown all the memories in the magical way. It's a quiet betrayal, slow motion chill, the way that you look at me standing so still. I poured out my spirit, I poured out my wine, but you've crossed out the names on the family line. Oh, it's sharper than a serpent's tooth, baby, to have a thankless child, and that's the truth. Worse than the winter, colder than a stone, to feel like a stranger in the house you own. Yeah, it's a jagged little rhythm, a heavy kind of bite, shaking the soul in the middle of the night. Gratitude is a venom that works on the heart, tearing the ties and the logic apart. I held your hand through the fever and the fear. Now I'm calling your name, but you won't even hear. A serpent is wild, it's just doing its thing, but the blood of my blood, that's a different sting. You take what you want and you leave the rest with a hollow goodbye and a hole in my chest. Think about the sacrifice, the years we traded for your smile. Now you walk past like I'm a shadow on the wall. A snake has a reason, but what's your excuse? It's the sharpest edge of all. A stranger in the house you own. Yeah, it's a jagged little rhythm, a heavy kind of bite. In this lo-fi groove, we feel the pain, watching the golden years wash down the drain. Honey on the tongue, lightning in the vein, a fever in the blood that we can't quite explain. We're dancing on the edge of a beautiful fire, chasing every shadow of a wilder desire. The sugar is sweet, the adrenaline is high, like a shooting star tearing through a midnight sky. But the higher we climb, the thinner is the air, and we're too drunk on the magic to even really care. It's a rush of the spirit, a heavy kind of bliss, sealed with the heat of a desperate kiss. But the candle that burns with a double-sided light is the first one to vanish in the middle of the night. These violent delights, they have violent ends, a jagged little rhythm that never quite mends, like fire and powder in a terminal kiss. They consume one another in a moment of this. Yeah, it's a beautiful crash, it's a graceful fall, and this lo-fi groove, we're losing it all. echo of the laughter is a cold, lonely sound when the walls start to crumble to the dusty ground. You can't have the lightning without the thunder's roar. You can't have the heaven without the closing door. We traded the steady for the flash and the spark, and now we're just shivering alone in the dark. The taste of the honey has turned into salt, the grandest performance brought to a halt. It's the law of the flame, baby. The faster you burn, the sooner you fade. We wanted the peak, but we forgot about the cliff. Extreme pleasure always demands an extreme price. Quite mends like fire and powder in a terminal kiss. They consume one another in a moment of this. Yeah, it's a beautiful crash, it's a graceful fall. In this lo-fi groove, we're losing it all. In this mellow space, find the ash, the slow motion rhythm of the inevitable crash. Stay in the cool, baby. Stay in the gray. Violent delights, violent ends. Looking for a map, but the ink is all blurred. Searching for the meaning in a whispered word. We thought it'd be a highway straight and wide, with the top rolled down on a summer ride. But the road's got secrets, the road's got bends, leading us to places where the sidewalk ends. A little bit of static on the radio dial, trying to keep steady for another mile. It's a detour, baby, it's a sudden rain. A little bit of pleasure and a little bit of pain. It's the offbeat rhythm that we're trying to find, leaving all the perfect little lines behind. The course of true love, baby, don't you know, never did run smooth. It's a jagged kind of flow through the thorns and the shadows and the rocky ground. That's where the deepest kind of magic is found. Yeah, it's a bumpy groove, but it's real and it's true. The long way around just to get to you. Like a jazz improvisation in the middle of the night, we're hitting all the blue notes until they sound right. If it was too easy, if it was too clean, we'd never see the wonders that we've already seen. The mountain is high and the valley is low, but that's the only way a heavy love can grow. So let the engine sputter, let the tires slip. We're the only ones captain in this rocky ship. Think about it. If the river was straight, it wouldn't make a sound. The beauty is in the winding, the struggle is the song. Don't fear the bumps, honey. That's just the world making sure you're awake. emotional. Never did run smooth, it's a jagged kind of flow through the thorns and the shadows and the rocky ground. That's where the deepest kind of magic is found. Yeah, it's a bumpy groove, but it's real and it's true. The long way around just to get to you. And there's a lo-fi space, we find our own pace. The beautiful struggle, sweet embrace. Love is the detour, and love is the end. Never smooth, but oh so sweet. Woke up at noon to the hum of the fan, watching the clock, doing all that I can to keep the lungs moving, to keep the blood warm, safe in the harbor, away from the storm. But the air in my chest is just a mechanical play. If I'm standing still at the end of the day, yeah, a mannequin breeze in a storefront window too. But that ain't the life that was meant for me and you. It's a quiet stagnation, a hollow kind of grace, to have a heartbeat but never leave a trace. Oxygen is fuel, but it's not the fire. It's not the hunger and it's not the desire. Living, it's not just breathing, baby. It's the way you move the ground. It's the choices that you're making in the silence and the sound. To live is to act, to push against the wall. It's better to stumble than to never move at all. Yeah, catch the rhythm, find the flow. Acting is the only way to know. Put your hands on the wheel, put your feet in the street. Feel the vibration of the city and the heat. Write a new chapter, break a long silence. Let your own spirit do a beautiful violence to the maybe and later and the someday lies. Life is the sweat and the look in your eyes. The world is a stage that is waiting for a sign. Don't just stand there waiting in the line. Your lungs know how to work, but does your heart know how to fight? Don't confuse the biological with the spiritual. Move. Make a mark. Be the verb, not the noun. Just breathing, baby. It's the way you move the ground. It's the choices that you're making in the silence and the sound. To live is to act, to push against the wall. It's better to stumble than to never move at all. Lo-fi groove, we find the spark, leaving a trail in the quiet and the dark. Don't just exist, baby, act. trembling cup. The sun is coming down as the moon is coming up. I feel the cold of the window, the grain of the wood, the physical world understood as it should. But the more I touch, the more I start to see the stone and the leaf are a part of me. The wind in the alley, the heat of the street is dancing in time with my own heartbeat. There's no out there, there's no in here. When the static fades and the vision is clear, the ripple on the water is a ripple in the soul. Two halves of a story making one perfect whole. An overcoaching your baby, don't you know? Matter in mind, in a single flow. The mountain is thinking, the spirit is stone. The greatest secret that's ever been known. One and the same in this lo-fi groove. The universe breathes every time that I move. If I'm feeling heavy, the sky turns to gray. The world is a mirror of the games that I play. The gold in the vault, the dust on the floor, or only the shadows of something much more. You can't have the object without the quiet eye. You can't have the earth without the eye in the sky. Unity, rhythm, a cosmic design, where the physical world and the spirit entwine. The world is not a stage, it's a reflection. The tree doesn't just grow in the dirt, it grows in your awareness, inside and outside. They meet at the center of the breath. Coaching your baby, don't you know? Matter in mind, in a single flow. The mountain is thinking, the spirit is stone. The greatest secret that's ever been known. One and the same in this lo-fi groove. The universe breathes every time that I move.